You ever wonder what happens when Sherlock Holmes meets a Scottish tweed factory?
Synthetic fibre? We have nothing to do with synthetic fibre here, sir.
And throws in an American business consultant with a mission to modernise everything in sight?
Come now, Rip Van Winkle. Don't tell me you've never heard of mechanisation.
No? Well, that's exactly what makes the 1959 British comedy The Battle of the Sexes such a weird, brilliant little gem.
Our main export being to the Americas, Mr. MacLeod does have to be hospitable to the buyer.
Let's talk about this offbeat, quietly hilarious movie that's got Peter Sellers, a bottle of whiskey, and an attempted murder that doesn't quite go to plan.
You definitely...
Oh, no, it would be a shame to touch it. It's a museum.
Now, stick around, because beneath its unassuming black and white surface, this film packs a surprisingly sharp take on culture clash.
Don't you have women in your business?
Jeannie McDougall.
Oh?
She makes the tea and cleans the offices.
Workplace absurdity.
Look what you've done.
I'll tell you what I've done. I've got you a new filing system.
And one mild-mannered accountant's unexpected rise to quiet heroism.
I will, thank you very much.
The Battle of the Sexes was directed by Charles Crichton.
They still make it in much the same way.
No, Mr. Martin, you don't surprise me.
Yeah, the same guy who would later go on to make A Fish Called Wanda nearly 30 years later.
Very touching, Mr. Martin. Some chief accountants would say there's no need for an export manager.
But in 1959, he brought to the screen an adaptation of James Thurber's short story, The Catbird Seat, transplanted from New York to Edinburgh, Scotland, and all the better for it.
Mr. Mickey,
Yes, Mr. Martin.
could you try to find a quarter nib, please?
Our story begins with the death of old Mr. Macpherson, played by the wonderfully eccentric Ernest Thesiger.
It's a pity I sent him to school in England. Too soft.
He's the traditional patriarch of a quaint Scottish tweed company. In his final moments, he offers a drink to his longtime accountant, Mr. Martin.
Give me a drink and have a dram yourself for the dying man.
Played with understated genius by Peter Sellers.
If you'll excuse me, Mr. Macpherson.
Martin declines.
I nearly had you, Martin. I thought you might have given way to sentiment.
And just like that, the old man keels over. Death by dram, you might say.
He was a great man. And here's to the new head of the house.
Suddenly, the reins of the company pass to his son, played by the ever-stuffy Robert Morley.
My name is Angela Barrows.
Oh, yes. My name's Robert McPherson.
And he's absolutely smitten with Angela Barrows, an American efficiency expert, portrayed with charm and no-nonsense energy by Constance Cummings.
Well, you're certainly efficient. I mean, first my sleeper, and now the brandy.
She works for an American company, but agrees to take a look at Macpherson's. Her aim is to modernise work practices in Scotland. And by modernise, we mean bulldoze the entire fabric of Scottish tradition.
He holds all the purse strings.
Oh, I see. Well, you are on the catbird seat.
Barrows wants to centralise the operation.
How do other factory workers manage?
These are not factory workers.
I have news for you. From now on, they are.
Replace the 700 island-dwelling weavers with a single factory.
Don't you let them talk you out of it. Remember, you're top dog. Oh, this is a big step, Robert.
And even swap natural tweed for synthetic fibres. That last one nearly causes a car crash, literally.
I'm not interfering, am I?
My dear, it's your job to interfere.
When she mentions it in passing, the chauffeur is so shocked.
Make the cloth of today synthetic fibre.
He crashes into a brewer's wagon. It's a blink and you'll miss it moment, but it's a perfect encapsulation of how out of touch her progress seems in this world.
Be Macpherson's tweeds now.
Synthetic fibre. Synthetic fibre?
Peter Sellers's Mr. Martin, on the other hand, is a man of routine, quiet, repressed.
Come along. Let's get out of here before there's any more of this.
Possibly allergic to change, and as he watches his world of tea breaks and carbon paper unravel under the pressure of Barrow's American ambition.
But how many of these are there?
Mrs. Barrow's instructions were for 607, one for each weaver.
He decides, ever so politely, that she must go.
I'm sure that something can be arranged.
Are you Martin?
Yes, yes.
Oh, well, that's settled then.
He's watching a Sherlock Holmes film when inspiration strikes. A murder, that's how he'll stop her.
There were no fingerprints in the house. For an obvious reason, the killer never removed his gloves.
Gloves.
But here's where the film takes a turn from black comedy to farce, with Sellers' impeccable comic timing right at the centre.
Cigarettes, please.
What kind?
Any kind.
Martin's plan involves whiskey and cigarettes, both completely foreign to him. He buys them specifically to plant misleading clues at the crime scene.
How about this old acquaintance? That'll do fine. I'll have that.
A sort of DIY misdirection. But once he arrives at Barrow's flat, things begin to fall apart spectacularly.
You do drink.
Yes, I never go anywhere without a bottle.
He fumbles with the whiskey, and just when he finally builds up the nerve to act, his own conscience, and maybe a little clumsiness, stops him.
You must have had a few before you came. There's no cat down there.
The murder plot fizzles. Thinking quickly, he comes up with another plan to cause problems between her and Macpherson.
I'm gonna murder that fellow, and then we'll have the house of Macpherson, you and I together.
But her accusations are so outlandish and Martin so convincingly unflappable that the young Macpherson believes him.
It's got it into our head that you went to her apartment last night and behaved in a rather disgraceful manner. It's quite ridiculous, of course.
If there's something I could...
No, thank...
Barrows breaks down, storms out, and leaves for good.
I shall defend myself! Well done, everybody! Will you see to it that Mrs. Barrows is escorted?
Mr. Martin, without even laying a finger on her, wins.
Afraid Mrs. Barrows' usefulness in this office is at an end.
But the final scene adds a note of unexpected tenderness. Martin sees her crying at the station and, whether it's sympathy, guilt, or just human decency, he buys her a flower. No words, just a gesture. It's a surprisingly moving moment in a film that mostly trades in dry wit and satirical jabs.
There's no such thing as a man with no vices.
Filmed partly in Edinburgh, with Moray Place and the Royal Mile featuring prominently.
Mom, when was that filmed?
The Battle of the Sexes has a distinctly Scottish flavour. There's something about the contrast between that ancient setting and the foreign, modernising force of Angela Barrows that deepens the film's satire.
We do find what we want when it's needed.
This I have to see.
Now, let's talk performances, because they're the soul of this film. Peter Sellers, even underplaying the role, is magnetic. You might know him for his outrageous characters in The Pink Panther or Dr. Strangelove.
Better have a look at the upstairs windows. Mrs. Barrows is inclined to leave them open.
But here, he proves he can do just as much with a furrowed brow and a blank stare.
Can't seem to find last month's figures anywhere.
Oh, well, don't worry. No doubt they'll turn up.
Mr. Martin is the very definition of unremarkable, and that's exactly what makes him unforgettable.
I couldn't wish for anything better. A man in business needs a woman in the home.
Constance Cummings, a veteran of both stage and screen.
But I wish you wouldn't think of me as a woman.
What?
I'm your business partner.
Brings complexity to what could have been a one-note antagonist.
I've heard that kind of talk before, Mr. Graham.
She's ambitious, yes, but never monstrous. That nuance gives the film a little more weight than you might expect.
I wish you wouldn't think of me as just a business partner. I am a woman, too.
Robert Morley, as the clueless new boss, adds a layer of pompous absurdity
Let's give it something it can really get its teeth into. Now then, give me a number.
that rounds out the comedic trio perfectly. As for box office and critical reception, The Battle of the Sexes was a modest success.
Yes, I quite understand. I hope you didn't mind my ringing you, Dr. Fitch.
It wasn't a blockbuster by any stretch, but critics generally praised its dry humour, Sellers' performance, and Crichton's direction.
Sure you don't mind me going on talking about this,
The film played well in Britain, especially with audiences who saw their own workplace dramas reflected in this genteel little war.
And it's a great institution.
Well, you wouldn't think that if you'd been married to my ex-husband.
Today, it's a bit of a hidden gem, so if you've got 90 minutes, The Battle of the Sexes might just be your next favourite discovery. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments. What's your favourite underappreciated classic? And hey, would you have gone through with it? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Making a passenger with his gloves on?
Oh, how can you be so gosh darn stupid?